Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and welcome back to another video about...
Elfmo! Elfmo!
That's right, here we are once again, and as everyone will know, the trailer number 1 for Season 6 of MyStreet was released at midnight today. So, what was my reaction to this?
Drop it!
At least that's what it was initially. Then I kind of watched the trailer and thought, I mean, I guess it's the first out of 3 trailers, so I'm hoping that the other ones are slightly better, because this one, even though it's exciting, left a lot of things very much unexplored, let's say. At least that's what I believe anyway. In the meantime, I am going to actually review this whole trailer, and we'll see what kind of conclusions we can come up with from that. So it starts off with Ian and a cloaked figure, which we can interpret to be the snake-eyed man, even though we can't actually see his eyes in the whole trailer, and they're basically preparing their work as they did in Emerald Secret. Now, when I first saw this trailer, I thought that this was Ian actually recovered from his fight with Aaron. However, I later learned that this is not the case.
They'll be here within the next few days. I am relying on you.
And that is where we first hear the Snake-Eyed Man's voice. Now, it's hard to say which voice actor is doing this. If they've been clever about it, they'll have made a completely different voice actor make this voice, because sometimes that happens in certain films, that at one point the villain sounds a certain way, and then they change the voice once you find out who the person actually is. And that's a clever technique that leads to suspicion and to more speculation, which at this point is what we've been doing anyway since Season 4, so that's not going to change really.
Are you sure she'll be coming here?
If she doesn't show up within a few days, cause some mischief for our little group. Enough that they call for help.
Yes, sir.
Use the wolves. If they don't listen, then hurt their alpha until they do.
Kill everything that gets in the way.
So we're 2 minutes into the trailer now, and we see the alpha of the wolf pack. I'm sorry, I can't remember what her name is for the life of me. Or should I say the former alpha. Apparently, the reason she was transformed into a human was as some sort of leverage over them, even though that wasn't actually required because Ian becomes the alpha of the wolf pack anyway. I'm still confused about the whole transforming her into a human thing. It seems that it was just done as an act of malice, but then afterwards, if her DNA structure is that of a human permanently, I still don't get why she then becomes the alpha once more and is able to attack them. There must be something else about it, because Ian was no longer recognized as a wolf. That's still a question that really, really needs answering, but I think that now we're going to find out.
I'll be gathering my equipment from the lodge. I leave in the morning. Don't you dare make a mistake.
So yes, Ian walks over and trips over nothing. The issue with this is that if that was the potion of obedience that Lucinda was supposed to take, because I can assume that Lucinda is the girl that the snake-eyed man was talking about, then how did he manage to make the other one? I guess what it was that it wasn't spilt in its entirety. The vial is very difficult because it's an opaque vial, deliberately so, and it seems to have spilt completely, but looking at it also, you could say that there's still some liquid inside of it. However, once a splash potion is used in Minecraft, you don't get it back, so I'm confused. Perhaps this was a trip before, and there was something faulty with Lucinda's potion. I don't actually know at this point, I have no answer for that one. But it does raise more questions than it does answer things. So that's interesting. So even before they arrived, that was all being planned. Not only did Ian and the Snakehead Man both go and get equipment from the lodge, presumably at separate times since they didn't coincide with each other, although the lodge is quite a large building, so maybe there's some unexplored levels that they didn't actually access. But all this happened before the first people arrived at the lodge, which means that whoever it was who organised it already knew that Lucinda was going to be arriving. Now, unless they're talking about a different girl, I don't know, maybe Ghost, since she is in fact female and was already at the lodge, but unless that means that there was information passed elsewhere. Someone else must have been working for the Snake-Eyed Man. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Michi, she happened to be there by pure coincidence. That's a possibility. But this means that the Snake-Eyed Man already has some sort of external reach on everyone else back at MyStreet. And that raises a whole lot more interesting ideas. And just tying a bit of a loose end together, just in case people are confused about who the cloaked figure was, it was Ian the whole time. We kind of knew that anyway, but just in case anyone happened to miss it, that's fair enough.
This potion, I need you to make this exact one.
I can't make this.
What? What do you mean you can't make it?
We're missing Moonglow. Link roots.
No! We need it to be exactly the same!
We don't have the ingredients. All we can make with these is potion of obedience, potion of hatred, maybe a potion of love.
So all three of the potions that were used were the simplest ones to make, and the other ones needed Moonglow and Link roots. I don't know if are these actual ingredients in a certain mod. I'd have to investigate into that one. But that begs the question, what kind of potion is Ian trying to make here? First of all, why the heck didn't he read the ingredients himself and make sure that they didn't have them there? I mean, that was a pretty big step. Went all the way through the trouble of kidnapping Lucinda, and then you didn't check to see if you had the proper ingredients. I mean, that seems basic potion making, which, again, he took in Phoenix Drop High. But regardless, the biggest question is, what potion is that? And is it or is it not the same potion that he dropped earlier on?
Love. Kill him.
And at this point, about 4 minutes in, it basically is a summary of, what happens, showing the animation again from the fights that Aaron and Ian had. By the way, check out my music cover of that one. I think it captures the battle fairly well. So I'm not going to show that one again, but once again, Ian becomes a human, and here is what happens afterwards. How the heck did he survive that? That's the question. I mean, look at the scratch wounds on that. That's barely anything. Aaron, granted he fell from a lot higher than that and he wasn't mauled by wolves, but even his single stab wound seemed more intense than that, or his multiple stab wounds. And those scars took ages to heal. Ian just looks mildly bruised. Which makes me think, did he take a potion of strength? Was it a more advanced potion of strength than, say, Gareth or Caitlyn's was? But then no, he couldn't have, because the whole argument between Aaron and Ian was the fact that Aaron was so much stronger than Ian. But it would make sense for him to take a strength potion, wouldn't it? It would make perfect sense. Unless the potion was some way of, I don't know, was it less powerful than an Ultima Werewolf? That would be an interesting idea, in which case he might have tried to extract Aaron's blood. I guess that might be something that he might try and do, because clearly everyone wants the Ultima for something in this show nowadays. I mean, Xavier wanted to expose him to the world for whatever reason. I was kind of doing a theory on that one. Ian wanted the Ultima because he wanted to make Aphmau a werewolf, and his own selfish reasons and whatever, but even in his human form, it seems that the potion has taken effect on him now more so than before, even though humans are inherently weaker than werewolves. You could argue that metabolically the potion could have affected him better that way. I'm reading way too into this, but I still think that he only looks mildly bruised, and he was mauled by at least 24 wolves, honestly. That's pretty incredible. Even without the Snake-Eyed Man's assistance, which is how the trailer ends, even without that, he still probably would have survived out of that. Because, I mean, Aaron got up from much, much worse. So that's the trailer, and yes, it does open quite a few questions. Well, I mean, two main questions about, what the potion is, and how did the Snake-Eyed Man predict the arrival of Gareth, Lucinda, Kim, and Aaron, how long this plan has been going on for, and how the heck did Ian survive that, honestly. And I thought Aaron's survival was plot convenience. So those questions are kind of, I guess, what the Season 6 is going to focus on. The other trailers, I reckon, are going to be more conclusive, and are going to look more like Minecraft Diaries Season 3's trailer, which I think overall was a better trailer, because it introduced all of the characters that had significant, really exponentially important arcs in Minecraft Diaries, revealed them once again after such a long time, and showed their motivations from their own voices, thinking about what was going to happen. Now, I personally think that Season 3 of Minecraft Diaries started off well, but became kind of underwhelming as other projects took greater importance, and all the characters that were in that trailer kind of faded into obscurity apart from Aphmau, because the voice actors were focused on MyStreet and things like that, which makes sense. Whereas this one, Season 6 of MyStreet, I think is going to do the opposite. I think the trailer is underwhelming, but the season is going to be a lot better. And that's kind of backed up by Jason Bravura's tweets, actually. It says that Season 6 will be the most advanced production they've ever attempted, and when it does come out, we should only expect one episode per week. Fair enough. May to do something special for the release, and not yet. The most advanced production. Now, they've had some pretty advanced productions in the past. Heck, even episode 100 of season 1 of Minecraft Diaries, that was surprising at the time. Season 2 of Minecraft Diaries took a step back because of budget restraints, but now that they have the budget, I'm kind of excited to see what they can do. Many episodes will be of the same quality as always, is what Jason also says. So that means we could expect more animations, I think. Obviously, we're going to have some sort of other Aaron versus Ian battle at some point. That's practically inevitable. Or that, or maybe Xavier will make an appearance, because I have a feeling that Xavier, being the secret agent that he is, might have been the informant. Season 6 takes place between Season 5 and Her Wish, which is already in itself interesting, because that would kind of explain maybe why Gareth was never shown to be in his werewolf form. Perhaps his lycanthropy was simply prevented by the potion itself, but we don't know that for certain. It would explain maybe why we see so few characters, but everyone seems to be already happy at that point, which maybe means that they're not going to be the focus as much. Obviously, we're going to have Aphmau and Aaron and Gareth and Zane and Kawaii-chan, the fan favourites. Caitlyn and Travis, I am sincerely hoping that they will have more significance than they did in Starlight and have more screen time, because that's something that needs to be explored. I'm pretty sure that Terry is going to have more of a presence. It will take place mostly on Starlight, so I'm guessing that if they're not going to be the focus as much, because nothing much clearly happens to them since they're all fine in Her Wish, I think that it's possible that we might be focusing more on the parents. The previous generation, I'm talking Elizabeth, Michael, Terry, who may or may not be the same person, by the way. There's a theory about that by someone else. Zach, Derek, Garte, Ziana, maybe Sylvana and Eric? Not sure. But I think we're going to get more of them. It depends on who is presented in the trailer. If they're going to do a Season 3-esque trailer, then whichever characters are presented in that trailer, we can say that since this is mostly a short season, as Jason says, that they'll be the ones who have the focus. If nothing else, they'll have the initial focus. So anyway, that's that for this trailer. I hope to see more trailers in the future, because it's a very interesting topic and one that really intrigues me. But for now, I guess we can only speculate. I don't know when the next trailer is going to come out. I don't think they actually announced it, but everyone seems to be dealing fairly well with this one. Maybe next week. Who knows? And also, Jason has highlighted the parallel that Season 4 was released around the same time of year that Season 6 will be released at, which again, we're in April, so it's Aaron death time, so who knows if that's going to be explored again. How many parallels there will be, it's uncertain, but for now, we can only wait. And on that note, until next time, farewell.